And now straightens up on the run up to Motorcraft. So Johnson, after all those problems, has come back to now be running third on the road behind Peter Brock. Dick Johnson, Mike Raymond, can you hear us?
Yeah, sure can.
Well, you've had to do it all again from behind.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
What actually happened, Dick? Just to slip off the track at the end of the straight?
Yeah, mate, I just sort of tried to go in a bit too deep under brakes, trying to catch that goddamn Commodore.
Well, at this stage, you're behind Richards. You've been able to get away from Jones. You seem to be able to catch them and pass them, though, Dick.
Well, I tell you what, I'm driving the wheels off the damn thing.
You had an overheating problem with the Mustang at Winton. Is it running smoothly today for you?
She's just on 200 at the moment.
Dick, Neil Crompton, how are the tyres hanging in there?
Yeah, just fine. These things, you can give them heaps, I hope. if they don't, well, tough cheese. They've got to catch that lemon, what do you call it?
That Commodore?
Yeah.
I think it's a Holden.
Alrighty, well, they're certainly within your sight, and the laps certainly seem on your side at this stage, and at the moment everything seems to be running okay, Dick, apart from the fact you're running third and you'd like to be up there and leading it.
Yeah, I sure would. But anyway, this, you know, there's that German kraut can up there I got to get to.
You always had a way with words, Dick.
Oh, well, it's what comes to your head, mate, isn't it?
All right, we'll let you go because you've got Alan Jones behind you, and I think he's thinking about it as well. Thank you very much.
I've got news for him.
Okay, thanks, Dick. Dick Johnson, never short on a word. Trying to come back from fifth, now up to third. He still has Jim Richards and, of course, Peter Brock.
Well, problem there for the big Jag. Gary Wilmington had the devil's own luck at Winton, and he's got it again today. But as we mentioned earlier, this is just such a complicated car, and it's almost impossible to run it without factory backing or solid factory support, because the technology involved in this machine is awesome. It's running terrifically in Europe with Tom Walkinshaw, but he's got such tremendous support from the factory. Here's poor old Gary Wilmington trying to do it single-handed virtually. I admire the man for his courage, but he really has taken on an awful handful. Big XJS Jag, if he could get it running right, it would be just so competitive. Let's go back to Jimmy Richards now. And this is the man that won the opening round of the championship at Winton. This is the car that took advantage of Brock's absence, but of course we've got Brock up front today. Jim knows that better than anybody. He didn't get the best of the start today, Jimmy Richards. Got balked in that mix-up that involved his teammate Neville Crichton and Colin Bond. And if you think it's Peter Brock's birthday, as Mike mentioned, next Tuesday, Colin Bond is 43 years old today. It wasn't much of a happy birthday for Bondy getting shunted out there at the first corner.
Well, Richards is still on the boil, chasing Peter Brock. He's had to come from a fair way back. So Brock has really had the run of the race so far in the 05 car after leading into the first corner. But providing Jim is a little easy on tyres, he's really throwing the BMW 635 around lap 10 of 25, round 2, the Australian Touring Car Championship. And, of course, the gap you can see between Jim Richards and Peter Brock, about 6.3 seconds at the moment. Black BMW coming up the back straight, past Motorcraft. Race winner, of course, at Winton, led home a 1-2 and leads the Australian Touring Car Championship on 25 points from his teammate Neville Crichton on 23. So at this stage, Jim Richards reasonably comfortable in second place, but I would think going all the way after a win, that means closing the gap on Brock.
Although it does look good for his points table, Mike, even if he does hang in there in second, with Brock not recording any points in the first round at Winton. The 635 BMW this weekend, in fact this season, switching to Pirelli tyres after using Dunlops in season 84. This particular car, the Group A car that was built for the James Hardy last year, in the hands of the Prince and Denny Holmes.
Well, Jim's giving it everything, let me tell you. He's trying all of the racetrack and then maybe another few metres. Dick Johnson still back back behind him, and they are trying to close the gap on this man, Peter Brock. 64 with problems.
Nelson in the Ford Mustang is not going anywhere. They've got a couple of the Mustangs, but Nick Johnson's the only one who's found the key to them so far.
And Don Smith's gone missing as well, Gary.
Peter Brock, the man has got the advantage where Brock always seems to have the advantage. He's just got big, long legs down the straights, whether it be at Sandown or at Bathurst. Richards working overtime. He was responsible for a very quotable quote after taking out the first round of the Touring Car Championship at Winton. He said, gee, I like this winning.
Well, you've been so used to following cars in the Touring Car Championship when the BMW wasn't all that competitive. Of course, under the old Group C rules, it's a different ball game now with Group A. And if anyone can possibly haul Peter Brock in, I think it could be Richards. He is trying very, very hard indeed.
It's interesting to note too, Mark, running first and second, they came off the front row of the grid together today, and did they win, wasn't it 3 Bathursts together?
Yes, in a row. Yeah. 78, 79 and 80, I think, Gary.
Yeah. And so here they are hammering away at each other. Brock, the king of Sandown. Richards knows exactly what he's up against. Third place being held down at the moment by Dick Johnson. Alan Jones is fourth. Roy Francevic in the Volvo is in fifth place, and Neville Crichton has made a great recovery. He's a fair way back, but he's holding down sixth place in the second of the BMWs as we take a break in this round of the Australian Touring Car Championship from Sandown. Peter Brock still leading.
Coming up on slower cars into the left-hander, takes Mania and is now signalled to the left by the driver immediately ahead of him. And of course Richards now joins the scene as they come up motorcraft again. Brock still doing the hand signalling in the cockpit of the car.
That cost Brock a little bit of time. It's down now to 3.6 seconds.
So Richards, after winning round 1 at Winton, chases Peter Brock, the hometown favourite. Is Brock going through down into the right-hander?
3.9 kilometres round here, so with 11 and a half laps remaining, Richards has still got time. We know, he knows, that he's got the reliability because he found his way around 100 Ks at Winton in 45-degree heat, so this car will survive the BMW. This is the first Australian campaign for the mobile dealer team Commodore. Will it survive? That's going to be the question as the race winds down this final half.
Tyres were the nightmare for the dealer team. As we look here at Jim Richards closing the gap in second position.
Locked up there behind the slower car. Now he's through. Johnson looming into view as well. Did you notice that? He's dropped off Alan Jones. And he's out to make up for that mishap that put him off the circuit and cost him several placings a little earlier. Check the gap here again between Brock and Richards as they cross the start-finish line. 11 laps left for them.
4.3 seconds, Gary.
4.3, so he's knocked it back 2 seconds in the last 2.5 to 3 laps.
Jim, I think, has probably come off second best in some of these manoeuvres with the slower cars.
Brock's a past master at it though, isn't he?
Yes, well, Jim seems to be getting them all on the tight sections as well. Watch this, coming up behind John Smith in the little Toyota as they make the run now to Motorcraft.
Smith blew an engine yesterday and has had to install a new one overnight, so the car really hasn't been sorted and he's really not running anywhere near as well as he'd like in the little Toyota.
Coming down behind what's the standard BMW. Richards powers on. Whoops. I think the speed might have frightened the other guy.
Ian Thompson in the mobile chicane.
Takes the right-hander and once again goes out after Brock, trying to pull back the gap. 2 Commodores, of course, starting in the second round of the Touring Car Championship, the debut by Commodore in Group A here in Australia. Brock leading the race, and some problems for Jim Keogh driving the second car.
Yes, unbelievably, Mike. He was relegated to the rear of the grid because of a weight discrepancy when the cars were scrutineered yesterday, and yet he got up to 5th place at one stage, and has now slipped back again.
Gap about the same from Peter Brock to Jim Richards, and then back to Dick Johnson, Alan Jones, 4th on the road in round 2 here today at Sandown.
Considerable weight difference between the Commodore and the BMW. The BM yesterday weighing in at about 1,190 kilograms, just on its limit, whereas Brock's Commodore at present 1,405 kilograms, and as Gary said before, carrying something like 180 kilograms of lead in ballast.
That's an awful lot of lead, isn't it?
Oh, is it ever? But the interesting thing, Gary, is that as of May, the Mobile Holden dealer team, and in particular the Special Vehicles Department of Peter Brock's organisation, will be producing a new Bathurst Special, about 500 cars, as 10% of the 5,000 required, typical of the unit. And this particular car will be 4.9 litres, and if you look at the equation between power and weight in Group A, when Peter Brock can bring the car back down underneath the 5 litre limit,
he loses about 75
that's
kilos.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's also trying to homologate a 5-speed gearbox, and also going for extractors, so it's going to be very interesting. And of course Dick Johnson came off a little worse for wear when the American people tried to homologate parts for the February 1st recognition for the Mustang, and he's missing extractors and roller camshaft.
Brock certainly got it extracted at the moment. He's leading the field in the second round of the Touring Car Championship. Jim Richards and then Dick Johnson, the man here we see on screen, car 17, Parmatute Mills, the jolly green machine. Not quite the same grunt that the old Falcon used to have, but Johnson slowly but surely is working this Mustang into ultra reliable race trim.
Whilst Peter Brock has got headaches with weight, and the Commodore, the Mustang, is right down on its minimum. It's went to the scales yesterday at 1,330 kilograms, the minimum being 1,325 for a car in the 4,000 to 5,000 cc class, which is the target that Brock would like. And that was thankfully made up by the 7 Networks race cam inside the car instead of having to put ballast in it.
So that's the secret in Group A racing, which is now in force in touring car racing in Australia. The more power you've got, the more weight you've got to carry.
Richard still closing on Peter Brock, make no mistake about that. And Dick Johnson, of course, still in touch with them in 3rd place. That's how the Australian Touring Car Championship looks. Brock the leader, Richards in 2nd, Johnson in 3rd. We'll take a break and return to round 2 at Sandown.
Three-time winner, as we mentioned, at Bathurst in partnership with Peter Brock, previously now residing in Australia, in Melbourne, in fact, has been in racing for an awful long time. And as I said, Bathurst winner with Brock in 78, 79 and 80, 76 Rothman Series, 2nd, Sandown 484 and 5th last year in the Australian Touring Car Championship, and at the age of 37 certainly kicked off the 85 Championship in great fashion by winning the opening round at Winton, and currently holding down 2nd place on the racetrack behind Peter Brock.
Interestingly enough, he keeps himself fit by doing some motorcycling. He's got 9 off-road bikes and a couple of road bikes, and Jim Richards strangely turning to ball motorsport when he wants to get away from all of this.
Brock, Richards, Johnson, Jones, Francevic and Neville Crichton, whom we mentioned earlier. Jim Richards' BMW teammate has done remarkably well after an early mix-up